chaos going on amongst us?
The media is helping in making those changes. It's also leading. But this is a society so steeped in very, very corrupt ways, so steeped in evil that sometimes these changes take place and people do not know. And then, because we do not tend to portray what we see as minor things as important, even the people in authority, they forget. What is supposed to happen normally is that some of these things that are highlighted in the media as things that will change society, they are picked up. I'll give you an example. When a military aircraft crashed somewhere in Benue, a young guy, 11 thereabouts, was the one who led the rescue effort. I'm sure the government does not know where he is today. But and with all the national honors that have been given from then to now, nobody has mentioned him. Nobody's even sure if he finished school or something. So the point I made earlier about the society and the media working together comes from the media highlighting things. There are so many organs of government that are supposed to pick up these things, whether you call it orientation agency, Ministry of Information, whatever, and then make these things as milestones within society, and people can then grow from them. Changes are not just going to hit up. Even when you make changes, you have to follow up on those changes, because a society that's in transition, as most societies are, particularly ours that are going through so many transitions, cultural, religious, and then moving into become what people are in a modern society, we must have governments that are strong enough to read the signs of the things going on. I think our governments are too busy with just being in power and controlling power. That even changes that the media propose, changes that are coming up from trends elsewhere that the media are also portraying, those things do not mean anything. Essentially, the government sees media as opportunities for grabbing the headlines, making statements, and appearing. The media do much more than that. The media are changing societies, not only in Nigeria, but elsewhere. But the changes that we'll be able to make in Nigeria will depend on how Nigerians, and particularly the government, because it's a government-driven society, how the government decides to change the society.
Not just in Nigeria, but elsewhere. We've seen what happened with the UK phone hacking. What about self-regulation here? How are we faring? Because you will have people who have issues about some of the reports or some of the conduct of some members of the media. How is self-regulation faring in the face of all that?
Well, you have a right to reply. There is the Press Council, and if it's broadcasting, I think National Broadcasting Commission. But the effectiveness of these bodies also could come to doubt, because there are enough complaints for us to see more action from those institutions, and I don't think they are there at the moment.
But because, when persons come up with some of those complaints, some of them think that they are not properly addressed, and as such, there's still room for improvement in terms of getting the confidence of the public with almost all the stories, all the stories that the media reports.
No, I think the public tend to have a lot more confidence in the media than the media sometimes have in themselves. I'll give you an example. When stories break that way, people are complaining the way they are complaining because they know that people are reading this and believing them. And again, some of these people who complain about these stories, there are channels. They should use them. But what happens most times, people do not have genuine grounds for such complaints. There are those who have those genuine grounds, and sometimes, again, they don't know the channels to follow. You write back to the editor, if it's a newspaper, you write back to the editor, the publishers, you have a right to be heard. You can write to the Press Council if you are not being heard. If it's broadcasting, you can complain to the National Broadcasting Commission. And as I said, the mechanisms in these places for effecting corrections, I don't know how effective they are because I don't see those corrections as often as they should appear.
What about the issue of ownership? Is ownership affecting free and independent press?
I do not believe there is anything called an independent press. To start with, the press sets out as an enterprise. The owner must have a reason for establishing it, and profit will not be the least of those reasons. And then when the old arguments about capitalism and communism, whether in capitalism or in communism, once there is a motive, some other things will have to give down. If the motive is profit, some things will give way for that profit. If the motive is political, some things will also give way. Beyond these, as the media grew in importance and influence, they attract other people and other issues that they never set out originally considering. So how they manage these issues and the individuals who get interested in the media are the issues that raise questions about independence. There are some media that are outrightly aligned, whether politically or economically, culturally or socially, to some interest. There are some that are not. But for an open space that you do not control, it's like exposing your sugar. You don't control the type of ants that play around it. There are so many issues that come to the media. And the handling of them then will reflect whether people see the media as independent or aligned to one force or the other. I must also admit that there are issues of capacity. Like most other Nigerian institutions, the media are not as efficient or as effective in capacities as people may assume. So things could come up and are handled the way they are because those handling them might not understand what is involved. That's where the issues of capacity come in. So it's not an outright issue of the media not being free and fair to everybody. There are issues of capacities. But when people talk of a free press, I do not think that the press can be free in any place, not even in the U.S. Because once you are shackled with responsibilities, those responsibilities ensure that you are not free.
All right, then we'll have to let you go there. Isiguzo is the chairman, editorial board of Vanguard Newspapers. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, now we'll be back in just a moment here, so join us again.
Catch the thrilling moments of football actions as primary schools from 12 states of the Federation and Lagos log it out in Season 5 of the Channel's National Kids Cup. From May the 21st to the 27th, schools from Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Ogun, Edo, Osun, Abia, Niger, Kaduna, Oyo, Jigawa, Ekiti, Anambra and Delta State will all do battle like never before. Come see the thrills, the dribbles, as the kids show their skills on the pitch. Channel's National Kids Cup, catching them young. This tournament is in conjunction with the Lagos State Football Association, Eko Football.
Here are the headlines. The House of Representatives is set to investigate the Petroleum Ministry over the allegations of suspicious oil deals worth about 59 trillion naira. Speaking on a matter of public importance, a member representing Ogbaro Federal Constituency in Anambra State, Mr. Victor Ogene, accused the Ministry of impropriety and abuse of due process in the